Some call it Hugh Hefner's backyard, others call it a tax evader's paradise, and others just call it the Monaco Grand Prix, one of the most prestigious, glamorous, and most beautiful racetracks on the planet. It's also the oldest, and it's also one of the best. Hello everyone, I'm Delta Alpha 05, and I'll be commentating this week's Monaco Grand Prix for the AfRoleague, and we begin with qualifying, which was already eventful as it is, with only a few cars actually able to set a time, including one of those cars that didn't set a time, Light Cruiser, who crashed out at qualifying. He was gunning for pole, didn't set the best lap, decided to push it a little bit to the edge, and crashed out of qualifying. Such a shame and such a pity. He was looking very strong and very confident to get pole position. And since I didn't have too many people's footage of their onboard laps for qualifying, I thought I'd do my one since I was the highest positioned one there. I promise you I won't do this again. So without further ado, I'll shut up and allow you to enjoy the lap. And this wasn't a bad lap, but it wasn't a great lap. I lost some time in the final sector, as you saw. It was a bit raggedy, and I just wasn't really in the rhythm for it. I tried going out again, but I actually lost my front wing at one point, and it just was pretty messy overall. So anyway, let's look at the start. I'm on third, Fopa's first, second is James. Let's see how this goes. I got initially a pretty good getaway, but so does James. We're side by side. Fopa has also got an okay start. I put my front wing a little bit too close to James, and we have a little bit of a collision. Smatino, who's behind us, I don't know what he's doing. He's just behind us. He had a pretty good start as well, and all three of us pretty much get away clean, slick, but it looks like it was pretty eventful from behind. We only have 15 cars that started this race. It was absolute chaos. You want to stay for this clip, boys and girls, because it gets crazy. That was one of those events. I accidentally crashed into James. Fortunately, not too much damage to my front wing. I didn't need a pit to change my front wing, which is also pretty good. Let's watch Comenzo. My apologies at this point. See his start. Not a bad getaway. Had a poor qualifying start in P12. He's side by side with Bassadino, who gets a better inside line, goes into the inside of Alex. Alex and him are side by side, and no. So close, but no cigar for Comenzo and Bassadino. And ooh, a little bit of close action between Bassadino and Alex. Zaffaro is just in front. It looks like he's had a bit of a raggedy start, a little bit all over the place. Meanwhile, Bassadino is trying to put his nose, locks up into Mirabeau. That could have ended up messy. What happens here? Comenzo keeps it very clean. And not a bad start for Comenzo, but not a great one either. Very neutral, you could say. Let's watch Niels. He started off well, qualified in 8th, side by side with Safso, my teammate, and gets away clean Scott. Cozy is just in front of us in the McLaren, goes into Massenet, and it's looking okay, but ooh, very close by Cozy, just going into the entry way of Casino Square. Now we go into Mirabeau. Looks relatively clean, actually, from Niels. Not a bad start. Hopefully he finishes up there. Ooh, a little bit of front wing collision with Cozy there. I guess we were both guilty of that as well. Meanwhile, a little bit up front, a few laps later, James, myself, and Light Cruiser, who's all of a sudden in 4th place. He overtook 2 cars. Great start by him. Unfortunately, again, I completely forgot his footage, or I couldn't find his footage. He was right behind us, and he was in absolute form at the start of the race. Us three were just fighting it over. Fopa is so far in the distance. You can see him already there. It's only lap 3, and he's already a couple of seconds ahead. James is kind of holding himself up at this point, but it's looking pretty hard. I go a little bit wide at Tabak, which was not really helping my chances for the rest of the race. I was struggling with a lot of understeer actually during the race, and this hurt me really hard, especially towards the latter stages when I could have been pushing a little harder than I did, and especially during the pit stop stages, which we'll get to at one point. Meanwhile, this was a big mistake by me. I'm very close to James. It's lap 5. I'm running a little bit wide, going through Anthony Noakes. Too much wheel spin, and actually to the point where I'm going all the way onto the right, and I leave some space for Ruben, light cruiser, to get past, and that's me down to 4th. I was pretty angry at this point. I was like, what the hell is going on? So at this point, I take the option and decide to pit at the end of this lap. I'm trying to also put my front nose, try to scare light cruiser a little bit, but to no avail. It doesn't really work. Meanwhile, this is actually really crucial. I get a 5-second penalty for some reason. I guess I don't know what the reason was apart from speeding, but I don't think I speeded too much. Anyway, I go into the pits, change to super softs, the prime tire, and then I find out that James, I leapfrog him in the pit stops, and the reason why is because he had to change his front wing. So that compromises his race, and it promotes me automatically onto the podium. So now I'm in a podium fighting position at this point, but will I get any further than that? Meanwhile, Comenzo, who is, well, this is a few laps before I did that whole pit stop, he's still trying to fight with Bassadino for 10th place. Bassadino goes wide into Casino Hairpin. This does not look very good for Bassadino. Safso, my teammate, is also coming up ahead, and Bassadino goes a little wide, and it's a collision at the tunnel coming out of Portier, and that was pretty dreadful. What the hell happened there? Was that a glitch? Was that lag? Either way, Comenzo is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. Pity, absolute pity. He did so well in Spain last time out. That was such a shame. Meanwhile, let's look at Niels. He's coming for his pit stop. He's on the Super Softs, goes on Prime. A little bit delayed because of my teammate coming into the pits. Still pretty crazy crash by Comenzo. I don't know what the hell happened there. We'll see. Maybe later on you can be the judge of it. It looks like Niels goes wide on the yellow lines. That would get him a penalty, but I guess I got away clean Scott with that one. Either way, this wouldn't be the first time you'd be entering the pits. Meanwhile, I'm trying to leapfrog light cruiser, and I actually eventually do this, setting a pretty decent time. I'm only 1.8 off my fastest time, and that was not too bad, actually, overall, by myself. And now my objective is to gain as big of an advantage over him as possible, because I had no idea that the penalty was coming in. Meanwhile, we haven't seen Alex for a little while, apart from that chaotic start. He's up to 6th. He's on the super soft tires, goes very wide into Massenet. Looks to be struggling with a lot of understeer. And let's see how he enters Mirabeau. Does he lock up? Ooh, a little bit. He runs a little bit too wide there, too close to comfort. Looks like he's struggling with a lot of front-end grip in general with this Toro Rosso. I don't know if it's the way he's setting it up or just the fact that he's on tires. I don't know how old his tires are. Is he on the? Is he about to pit? At this point, I don't really know. Turns out he actually was always on the Super Soft. He was doing the same option as any one of us. Meanwhile, Niels, Super B again, goes into the pit stop. I want to give credit to Super B. He organizes our playlists of all the footage. I'll try and link that in the next video so that you can see it, because he does a really good job organizing that. Goes into the pits, goes onto Ultra Soft, good choice there, and he's going to probably try and finish on this tire to the end of the race. It'll be explosive, hopefully, coming out of the pit lane. We'll see how that goes. Does he keep it in the lines, though? Let's see what happens here. He kind of does. Ooh, very close. I don't know. That's really, really close. That's close. That's close. That would have gotten him a penalty in real life, but whatever. Then meanwhile, we watch him a few laps later, 3 or 4 laps later, going into Massenet. Good entry here. Not too bad. Goes wide here. Oh, and he crashes. He's also got blue flag. Looks like we got a car. Smatino, who is in 4th place at this point. Oh, man. That was a pretty nasty accident. Poor Super B goes into the pits, goes into the Ultra Softs again. And then on the final 2 laps of the race, he's fighting with King Panda, it looks like, though. I think he's a lap down. It looks like King Panda and Alex Zaffro are racing for 6th place, which is pretty crazy. Should mention that King Panda is in the Ferrari. He's actually supposed to be in a Force India. For some reason, he's in the Ferrari. I guess something happened while we were setting up the server. Let's ride on board with Alex on the final lap of the race. Let's keep as long as possible with him. Looks like King Panda really hasn't found a way to go through. He's close. He's really, really close. He's trying to get past. Alex is still suffering from a little bit of understeer coming out of Portier. In particular, you can see it in the hairpin. Let's see how he does at Nouvelle Chicane, just coming out of the tunnel. Breaks at a distance. Not bad. Good. It was a good cornering there. Doesn't look like he's suffering too much from a lack of grip. Hits the wall just going into Tabac, going into the swimming pool, wide at the swimming pool in the second part of the swimming pool, the piscine. He goes through there as well. Meanwhile, Fopa has actually finished the race at this point. Does anything happen here at La Rascas? No, he doesn't do a Schumacher. And then Anthony Noakes, he keeps it clean. And it looks like he finishes in 6th place. Not a bad result, considering everything. Good job by Alex as well. Okay, I guess we'll end on my note since I'm the highest finisher and probably want to end it at this point. Fopa finishes in 1st place with an absolute dominant drive. 20-second gap in the end. I think it was 21 actually at this point. I finished 2nd, my first podium of the year. Light Cruiser finishes 3rd behind me, 11 seconds behind. I pulled a huge gap. I was much quicker than him, I guess, in the race. And overall, it was a very hard and well-thought race between myself and Light Cruiser. And Fopa was just the better driver this weekend. Let's ride a little bit on board with Light Cruiser. Not too bad. Good finish, considering the circumstances. Here's the podium. Fopa for Sauber wins the Monaco Grand Prix. Fantastic result for the Swede, and a fantastic result overall by all of us. In fact, all the drivers who competed did a really good result. Not a huge start crash, which we were all fearing before the race. It was a fantastic race overall. Fantastic in every single way. I know I'm mentioning fantastic a lot, but it was a very clean and well thought out race. So let's go for the results. Fopa 1st, 2nd myself, 3rd Light Cruiser, 3rd Smatino. Great result by him. 5th goes to James Pilbeam. Looks like he lost out a lot. Alex Afro, King Panda, Cozy, Super B, and Safso got the final point despite not finishing. We hope you enjoyed this race, and we'll see you in Canada. Take care.